I hit Grandmaster one-tricking Volibear, playing a variety of builds, despite some of them being what I now consider to be suboptimal. But because of those experiences, I've improved my understanding of which items work best. I present to you the scaling-focused solo carry build for Split 3. To change the meta, one must understand the strengths and weaknesses of the current carry-oriented builds. These builds strongly help with picking off overextending enemies and diving into the backline while staying alive for as long as possible. But as the game progresses to late game, Volibear with these items and runes loses his kill pressure and dies faster. Supports get better items to protect the carries, and carries naturally get more defensive stats as they level up. Which is why this build requires you to not fall behind, actively snowball leads, and end the game quickly. But what if we aren't forced to play to snowball anymore, and can just outscale and farm our jungle camps? In Split 3, Riot is slowing down snowballing and shifting more power into champions. Rather than short trades in fights and snowballing leads, I believe that extended fights and outscaling could bring more consistent wins. It's also better mentally because you won't feel like you lost your lead from longer games. Here are the Split 3 snowball nerfs. Sundered Sky has been nerfed because of how its damage potential has been reduced. Cosmic Drive is now inviable because of its shift in passive from ability damage to magic damage. Rushing Ionian Boots of Lucidity is also not as strong anymore due to its reduced ability haste. Now, on to the items I recommend. Riftmaker is the strongest first item for scaling Volibear. The extra ability power that is granted from HP is also nice. AP also synergizes with Volibear's attack speed passive, and that attack speed will help later on once you finish Navori Flicker Blade as a 4th item. Generally, you want one armor item and one magic resist item as a 2nd and 3rd item, and Frozen Heart and Spirit Visage fulfill those slots the best. Frozen Heart reduces the total attack speed of all enemy champions by 20%, and this scales very well as they build more attack speed. Iceborne Gauntlet is no longer as appealing because of its 300 gold increase. The only reason you ever built this item in the first place was for its slowing effect, but as the game goes on and scales to late game, these slowing effects do not matter because AD carries can still hit you, even if they're slowed. Spirit Visage is a no-brainer due to the healing and shielding increase. Costing 200 gold less, it is a very powerful buff. Now the 4th item, Navori Flicker Blade, might be a little strange to you guys, but it comes to a point where sometimes when you have enough defense, getting more cooldowns reduced can actually make you tankier and do more damage at the same time. His W heals him and his E shields him. His Q also stuns, so rather than building another item that gives diminishing returns in armor and magic resist, it is way better to get Navori Flicker Blade. And finally, if you are ever able to reach the latest item, Jak'Sho is preferred because of its increases in bonus armor and magic resistance. The main reason why I think this item is required as a last item is because of how AD carries and mages build armor penetration and magic penetration in the late game. This item will actually counter those penetrations somewhat, but I can also see Thornmail or Kyanic Recurrent working if they have heavy AD or heavy AP teams. At the same time, we want the runes to fit the scaling playstyle as well. PTA definitely does more damage early, but the resolve tree isn't that far behind. At level 4, PTA does 61 damage with an 8% damage buff. Grasp does 32 damage and increases your max HP by 7. Combined with Shield Bash of 22 damage, it does a total of 54. So the damage isn't too far behind, and you get the potential to scale HP and sustain more in fights. Shield Bash has also been adjusted this split too, to do more damage, and I consider this to be a buff. And for the secondary tree of Celerity plus Water Walking, I think it could still be good for faster ganks, but if you want to scale better and duel better and finish kills better, Alacrity and Coup de Grace is the way to go. Theoretically, I think this build works very well, but of course it still needs more testing. Feel free to follow my links. I might actually climb again, and thanks for watching.